Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello!
And I'm the podfather of gaming, Stephen Bonacore.
Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. We're glad you're joining us. This is the last Board Game Breakfast for a while. There will be none on Monday. There will be none next Thursday. There will be none the Monday after that. And we'll see when we start up again.
Unacceptable. I told you have my Thursday mornings. What is going on here? You can't cut out 1 hour of time for this.
You will come down and help us move from one studio to another.
Oh yeah. I'm you're right. I was leaving town. I'm going back to see my mom.
No. That's reasonable. I mean, sometimes you invite someone to help you move, and it makes the moving take longer. So yeah, we invite you out of politeness, and we gratefully accept your no. So, folks.
Like a weird RSVP. Okay.
Hey, folks, we're running a contest. This is a continuation of our contest yesterday, and this is a doozy of a contest. We got two prizes here, both of them being shipped worldwide, although the winner has to pay any taxes of where you are in shipping. But here's the two prizes. First of all, we have a J.J. Birkton mat rack and choice of 4 Game Topper premium mats. So These are amazing mats. I know that Game Toppers, if you've ever been to a convention in the past few years, you've seen Game Toppers at like 80 different booths.
Yeah.
Game Topper, where you can turn an ordinary table into a fancy game table. Not only that, they now have leg kits where you can turn a Game Topper into a table.
What?
What? So they've gone?
Sold me the top. Now they sold me the bottom. I try to get out, but they pull me back in with an entire table. I like it.
Anyway, the mats, these mats that you can get with the mat rack, these are some of the nicest mats I've ever seen for a table. We often get a lot of mats. We look at different mats and but when I saw these the first time, I was incredibly impressed. He puts a lot of good quality into them. So you can win that. You can also win the Viking Sculpted Watson Game Topper package. So this here, there's so many things here. By the way, this is running on GameFound right now, and you can. Kickstarter. Why did I say GameFound? Kickstarter right now, and you can back all this stuff. But this table here is in conjunction with Dogmite, and man, the sculpting on this table looks really cool, especially if you're a Viking at heart.
Ooh.
Which the president of Game Toppers, Berkey, is definitely one. He is a displaced Viking.
Born in the wrong century. That dude can do everything.
A medieval king, maybe. I don't know, but he is a good guy. Love Berkey.
Or a sheriff or whatever.
Yes, he's many things.
He's many things. And so these are great quality. And folks, you can win either one of these. And all you have to do to enter this contest, this is a little different than normal, is click the link below. There's a link to enter this giveaway. Go there. And whether you win the contest or not, folks, go check out the Kickstarter. We have a link for that in the description, too. And you can learn more about these in an affordable way to get a really, really nice table.
That is awesome.
Alrighty. Well, like I said, folks, keep in mind that this is the second last live video on the channel. We have one more coming up today, Shoots and Marbles. And after that, we are dismantling. Actually, the dismantling has already begun in some form and fashion. We're going to be packing up the new house. I have the keys. I made new keys for all those of you worried about me posting pictures of them on the internet. I was already getting keys.
You can't do that, Tom. You can't do that. People will copy the keys.
Well, here, folks.
If you look at the grooves in the key, by the way, if you look at the grooves in the key, you can decipher the address as well.
So, anyhow, folks, this is going to be taking up a bunch of time, but we want to make sure we do it right. Right now, the new house is completely empty. Today, I'm meeting with different people to start getting that put together, and then we're going to move things over, build the studios. We'll try to get it done as quickly as we can, but we want to also take our time, make sure it's right. And then we'll be back with content. Our content for this week, of course, will be going up all the way till Sunday. The last thing you'll see will be Week in Review early Monday morning, and then we'll be off. We're not taking off work, though. There's quite a bit to do. So keep that in mind, but we'll be back. But hey, this show isn't over yet. Let's jump to some contributors, and then we'll be back with the news.
Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at A Gentle Rain by Mondo Games.
In A Gentle Rain, players are going to be laying blossom tiles trying to match up colors. It's a game for one or more players. Let's take a look at it on the table.
Take a deep breath and relax. You have come to the lake to be able to play a game of A Gentle Rain. Let me show you how this game works. You're going to mix these tiles up into one complete stack here. This is a solo or cooperative game in which players are going to flip over these tiles trying to match the same colors of blossoms as such, like that. And you'll continue to flip them over, continuing to grow the playing space. And ultimately what you are trying to do is to complete a square of tiles. And as you can see, I have done that. And once you do that, the 4 tiles that connect, the 4 blossoms, you are going to grab one of these circular tiles here that matches one of the 4 and place it in the middle. And you are trying to place out all 8 of these before your stack runs out. Your score is however many of these you get placed out, plus however many tiles you have left over. Okay, Sam, so what are some of the things you like about Gentle Rain?
Well, I love how I love the puzzle aspect of it. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to learn. I learned it just by watching Lance play it by himself. And it's a very quick game as well.
And maybe some of the things you don't like?
It's a little random, very luck based. There's not a whole lot of skill needed to play it.
Okay, and scale of 1 to 10, love to hate, what do you give this one?
I'd give it a 6.5.
All right, 6.5, there you have it. That was Gentle Rain from Mondo Games, the quick, easy, cooperative game. For Sam, I'm Lance, and this was Love to Hate.
Hello, and welcome back to Retro Board Game Corner. Here I have Mork and Mindy the Card Game, published in 1979 by Milton Bradley. This is a 3 to 6 player game in which you're trying to... Dad, we are filming! And where did you get those suspenders? Those are collectibles. You're not supposed to be wearing those. Okay, we'll figure this out later. Let me set this up and show you how it works. This is what the game would look like set up. Depending on the number of players, you will have 1 less egg than the number of players. Give each player 7 cards to start the hand. If you've ever played the game Uno before, then you know how to play this game. To begin the game, you will go ahead and flip the top card over. The first player is going to try to match the animal or the color of the card. If he cannot, he has to draw 2 cards from the stack. There's 5 special cards in the game. When you play this card, you're going to give a card to an opponent. When you play this card, the next player is going to lose a turn. When you play this card, you will choose a player to draw 2 cards. When you play the Mindy Wild card, you just pick a color and then the play continues. And when you play this Nanu Nanu card, everybody will go for an egg. The person who did not get the egg will draw 2 cards. There's one catch to the game. Every time you're forced to draw a card, every time you skip a turn, or every time you don't pick an egg when the Nanu Nanu card is played, you have to say Shazbat. If another person catches you and says Zzz and gives you the Orkin Finger of Fate, you have to draw 2 more cards. Object of the game is to get rid of all your 7 cards first. You have won the game. You know that these are the Mork for Mork suspenders that you bought me back in 1980?
Yes.
Where did you find them at?
They were in a box in the closet.
When did you find them?
I don't know, a couple of years ago.
And these are highly collectible. You let Dad wear them?
Well, how else is it going to hold up his pants?
You know, I've been looking for these forever, and I even went on eBay, Etsy, Mercari.
I don't even know what that is.
They're internet auction sites.
Do you want to buy them from me?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dice Tower News. As we talk about the news that came out over the past week, in this case, not a lot, but some very exciting news. Let's start with some, who knows if it's news or not, and that is Repo's Production is talking about some Seven Wonders mystery. they're having a contest, which is fantastic and all, I'm sure, but it makes it sound like something else is coming. What is that thing? I don't know, and until I hear about it, I don't care.
You have no vision.
The enthusiasm today, Tom, is through the roof.
No, look,
has anybody else picked up on that?
I really dislike when this stuff happens because you could get your hopes up for what I don't even know what my hopes would be. But like, ooh, I'm like, okay, fine, just tell me or I'll wait.
This is called good marketing. You might want to think about good marketing. It's great what they're doing here. When I saw this, I was on another podcast and I saw this, and we all took a bet on like what it's going to be. At first, I thought maybe they have a legacy version of it, mystery. But then I said maybe there is a mystery angle to the game, like exit series type thing or something like that. I thought this was cool. I can't wait to see what it's going to be.
The problem is it could be incredibly disappointing. That's the problem. Sometimes they do these big build-ups and they're like, we have a new version of Seven Wonders Duel coming out. And you're like, oh, okay, fine.
You know what? Life is full of disappointments. If it's disappointing.
I know. That's why you're on the show. All right. So anyhow, let's jump to something that actually is interesting. Grail Games. All right, so Grail Games.
Here. I'm going to have to switch something a little stronger than this. This is getting rough.
All right. Anyway, Grail Games, they were talking. They did editorial. They're talking about how they're going to change slightly in direction. So Grail Games was founded. They're publishing. They just did Fjords is on Kickstarter right now. So they're working on that. They did a partnership in 2019 with Surfing Meeple. And then they eventually joined the Madigo family of companies. I'm still a little confused sometimes about the Madigo family because there's Madigo, there's Colossal, there's Surfing Meeple, and I don't really know the difference between all three of them. There's a brand confusion to me, at least. Grail Games is the one that's easier to tell apart because they come back on and do, they've been reprinting older games.
Right.
So they have the Euro classics that they've done, where they did Medici, Stephenson's Rocket, Yellow, and Yangtze. But they, being very blunt, these older classic games haven't sold well, which, interestingly enough, lines up completely with what Steve from Z-Man Games just recently said.
Correct.
These old reprints of classic games, specifically Knizia games, but other games in that time frame, just don't sell well right now. Of course, these kind of comments always lead to everyone screaming, "Oh, what the world!" Whatever. We've moved on.
So there's some implied things in this announcement. Like what are they doing? Like he mentions that that he was overwhelmed. So is he now like kind of merging a little closer with like the Madigo family, like they're going to be helping him out?
He said that Madigo's going to be, they're officially joining them completely now. They had a partnership earlier. Now they officially joined them. So now Madigo's handling marketing, finance, distribution, production. He doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff.
So essentially they're merging companies. Got it. I mean, that's basically what they're doing,
right.
whether it's an actual on the books merger or not, but they're going to provide all of his accounting and logistics, and he's just going to find games and produce games. Very cool. Okay.
The thing that matters here, those 10 games that Grail released from Reiner Knizia are going out of print, and they're not reprinting them. So he's saying, buy them now. I think the only two of these that will really be talked about in years to come will probably be Yellow and Yangtze, which was the sequel to Tigers and Euphrates, and Medici. But there's also the Medici card game, dice game, Circus Flocati. I think you like that one, Z, right?
I like the previous edition. I thought theirs was horrendous.
So
theirs is the one that had people with flea heads, like photorealistic flea heads. It was terrifying.
Is Medici?
I thought it was one of Grail Games' few missteps because I think their general look is amazing.
Is Medici the card game, the original Medici, or that was a play on the original Medici?
No, there is Medici. They put out Medici, and then they put out a Medici card game, and they put out a Medici dice game, which was fairly recent.
Yeah, I don't play these. I know Medici is quite a good auction game in my opinion, but it doesn't list it here, so it won't affect me.
At the end of his announcement on this, the owner basically said, I got some news coming up soon, but we'll talk about that project later. He put project in bold. Well, In the same day, really soon, it was announced, and I had backed the expansion for Energy Empires from Minion Games, and Grail Games has picked up at least some of Minion Games stuff. So Minion Games, run by James Mathey, or James Math, sorry. He passed away 2 years ago,
approximately,
and he ran the company solely. And so when that happens, there's some things left up in the air. The Kickstarter wasn't delivered, although I don't think any Kickstarter backer is going to get mad about that. What can you do? His wife wasn't really interested in running the company, but she got control of it. So at that point, the other publishers were all very interested. But, several publishers were looking into this. I know, for example, that Dice Tower Essentials, I said a couple of these games are pretty good. But I hadn't heard anything about it for a while, but now we know that Grail Games is picking up at least Manhattan Project and Energy Empires. And they're going to be completing the fulfillment, as far as I can tell, for the expansion Energy Empires. Now, with all due respect to Minion Games, other than Manhattan Project, Energy Empires, and what's the one you like, Z?
The Dead Men Tell No Tales?
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Okay.
The vast majority of Minion games are frankly pretty bad. They're just not great games. But Manhattan Project and Energy Empires are very highly regarded, and Dead Men Tell No Tales is highly regarded by Z Garcia.
So James Math had not only Minion Games, but he also was partners with RPG Now, One Bookshelf, who does like print on demand RPGs and other things. So the person who put out this release was Steve Week, his partner, and Steve, I've known him for forever. He was the president over at White Wolf Games, and he basically took it on himself to take the entire catalog of Minion games, and he wasn't even involved with Minion, I don't believe, and he tried to find homes for both the Kickstarters and for the rest of the games, because again, like you said, his wife, James's wife, did not want to run the company, but you got to do something with the company in the end. It's got to be dissolved, etc., and hopefully you get somebody to fulfill the Kickstarter. So Steve did a great job. Kudos to him for working on this for me.
And I'm glad, because I really like Manhattan Project and Energy Empire. I think they're really good games, and it's good to see them still be reprinted like this.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping to, well, we're still in Grail Games. Grail Games has announced Matthew Dunstan and Brett Gilbert, who've done a lot of collaborations at this point, called The Gardens. Harding says that the owner of Grail Games says this is his magnum opus. I would always be hesitant to say that until after people play the game, right? But it looks pretty neat. You're working on a botanical gardens and building these gardens.
Now, this is from Grail, meaning, again, Grail normally reprints things. This seems to be a new design, right?
Yeah, I think they're changing focus a little. Yeah. That was the whole point of the announcement.
And I'm assuming it's Grail Games who's saying magnum opus, or the designers?
Grail Games.
No, Grail Games is saying that in terms of how he's been able to shape the entire package.
I see. Okay, so more hands-on control, maybe a little more development, maybe. I agree with you. It's a very good-looking game, and I am a fan of these designers and the work they've done together.
Yes, I agree.
I like Matthew Dunstan's stuff a lot, even when he works alone. I like Brett J. Gilbert, especially when working with Matthew Dunstan, so the team. And this is a very attractive cover, and the whatever that teaser is, I'm assuming it's a board or a player board or something. That looks very nice. It's bright, attractive. I love it.
Alrighty, other things that are coming out from DV Jochi, we got another Deckscape, Crew vs. Crew, and another Detective Nightmare in the Mirror. So
yes.
These Detective is a escape room in a box. No, that's Dex. Which one's the escape room in a box? I'm getting confused now.
Deckscape is sort of an escape room, they give you puzzles in Deckscape, and it's a wonderful little series of a small escape room feeling game. And then Detective is a kind of more murder mystery whodunit sort of game, in which you're not solving a bunch of puzzles. You're more building a case. trying to again, at the end of the game, you're going to answer some questions. So it's that kind of game. And I like those a lot, too. I reviewed one not too long ago, and it was really fun. It's they're engaging. They have a lot of, you're supposed to be observing this little crime scene you build, and things are going to change. You play some cards and, share some information.
Oh, right. Yeah, I played that.
Yeah, they're really fun. I'm quite looking forward to these. Both of them, in fact.
Well, I'm a little hesitant on the crew versus crew because it's a head-to-head puzzle-solving game. I've never heard of such a thing. You're trying to solve the puzzle before the other person does. An escape room that's competitive does not sound as fun as a cooperative one.
You're crazy. But I think it's still cooperative to your crew. It'll be like two of us working together versus two other people working together.
Sure, but then that narrows down the number of players. Like, you can't play. I do a lot of escape room games with just two people, me and somebody else.
So you can do it that way.
Well, I guess you could, but it would be you versus the other person.
Yes. Yes.
At that point, that's true. But
I wouldn't like that. If me versus my wife, I don't know. I don't.
I mean, I think the sweet spot for this would be 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. Sure. But
sure.
It's nice that they're making they're doing a little bit of an evolution on the Deckscape line. I'd love to see this kind of stuff.
And it's pirates. Can't love pirates.
This looks really neat. These guys have kept this line going. Both of these going. Deck Detective is a little newer. They've only got 2, I think. Previous.
This is the 3rd, it says.
Yeah. So I think both of these series are very portable. They're non-destructive, so you can play these, and you'll get about an hour, 80 minutes maybe out of it. But then you can pass these along, and they're a great little gift.
You don't need like paper. You don't need as much paper and pencil and scissors and all that stuff.
Yeah, you shouldn't need anything. Yeah, you can just enjoy this and then pass it along. It's a very nice way to do this.
All right, CGE is reprinting their second most successful board game because Codenames reign supreme, and that is Galaxy Trucker. They're redoing the art, but they're also replaying the gameplay. They're redoing the gameplay sort of in a sense that in the original Galaxy Trucker, you went through 3 flights. You made a small ship, then a bigger ship, then a bigger ship than that. Here, you're simply doing one flight, one single flight. And you can still do the 3-flight campaign in the box. But I am all on board with this because if you're just using the big ship to make one flight, that takes out some of the weirder elements about doing stuff in between flights and things.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like the new artwork, and I know all 3 of us agree. Let's go to the next piece of news.
Yes, 100%.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Galaxy Trucker rocks, so I'm happy.
I absolutely
he doesn't like
it. That this is the last time I'll talk about this.
You're not a fan. I love Galaxy Trucker.
I love that you love it. I mean, because I care about you. I also hate that you love it because I want this game to go away.
Well, I'm excited about this.
You and I will play.
It's a cheaper version of the game, so hopefully that will get it in more people's hands.
Sure.
Cool.
All right. In terms of announcing things at the wrong time, Asmodee has announced that they're exclusively distributing Plague Incorporated. Now, the board game. Plague Incorporated, the board game, is a reimplementation of a very popular Plague Incorporated digital game, which a few years ago I played a lot. I haven't played it in the past year and a half. Try to think why. In where you are basically some sort of disease and you're trying to destroy Earth. The board game is very similar. It's actually a decent board game. I liked it and enjoyed it. I got the expansion in March 2020. I have not reviewed it yet because I did not find it to be an appropriate thing to review at this point in time.
Yeah.
And that's why I find this announcement to be odd.
I disagree with your take on not being able to. And Matt Leacock has said that, it's odd, but his sales of Pandemic have gone through the roof during this time. So this
Pandemic is about you working together to stop a disease. Plague Incorporated is you being a disease trying to kill millions of humans.
So we can't play war games anymore because I'm playing the bad guys.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying there's a difference between those two. That's all.
There is not a difference between those two, and this game would be very appropriate. It's very topical. Sure.
Wait. There's not a difference between saving the world and destroying the world?
they're both games, Tom. In no way, shape, or form does it matter. We're playing if it's a good game, it's a good game. I'll review it. How's that? Send it over here. I'll review
It does seem a little weird. I understand what you're saying, Steven, about it. Game's a game's a game. That's fine. I get that.
Yes.
It does seem then manipulative to go, oh, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Pandemic is selling well. Let me find more horrible themed games about pandemics and publish them now because I want to make more money. That part of it does seem a little icky. But you're right. It's just a game. It just seems that either the timing is not it's just a coincidence, in which case, okay, fine. Or it's a bad idea because, again, he's putting something out that is out of touch. Or it's a bad idea because he's doing it on purpose to capitalize on what's going on. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It just seems a little icky. I don't care either way, but
I see what you're saying.
I disagree that the theme doesn't matter because then you're saying there's no such thing as an offensive theme, and I'm saying that if I'm playing Pandemic and I meet someone whose father passed away from Pandemic, I might say, yeah, but this game we're trying to stop the disease. But if I play with somebody who lost someone to the virus, which is not a small amount of people,
obviously,
I could see them being annoyed by this. I wouldn't play a war game, Memoir 44, in 1946. I can play it now because we're so far removed from that.
So it's too new of it's too it's what do you always say?
Too like
too
I
fresh.
said, I love playing the game, but
Too
it was
soon,
like
too
science fiction when I played it before.
I killed a whole bunch of frost giants in my Pathfinder campaign this week. I apologize publicly to all frost giants.
Wow, you are a really bad arguer. That is false equivalence.
That is specious.
There is no frost giants in the world.
Specious, pedantic, and pedagogical. Those arguments. That's right. Go look up your words now.
Wow. I love this. This really builds up some nice tension for my game.
All right. Speaking of plagues, there's another game. Czech publisher Delicious Games is now published. They've announced a new game called Messina 1347.
Is it about a plague?
Yes. It's the Black Death. The plague epidemic's going through town, and you are taking the role of important families leaving town, and you're trying to save other inhabitants and fight the plague infection in town. This is the opposite side where you're trying to stop it. But again, also this is in the 1347, so it's a slight really removed from now, 650 years ago.
I like the look of these hexes. It kind of makes me think of it looks like Robinson Crusoe a little bit, doesn't it? The hex layout there.
Yeah, but I think it's I'm pretty sure if it's Delicious Games, I'm pretty sure it's hardcore Euro.
Okay. Well, so is Robinson technically, but
that's true. That's true. All right.
Yeah, this looks good. I like the vibe here. And I do like this theme actually. The Black Plague theme is interesting. It's morbid certainly, but I like Radis. I think it has an interesting theme. It's just the same thing. And this one sounds interesting too.
I'm gonna have a trifecta of plague games. I'm gonna play Pandemic. I'm gonna play Plague Incorporated. Then I'm gonna go play Plague again. It's just called Plague.
No, this is
It's
called
Messina 1347.
Oh, Messina 30. I'm playing them all this week.
And you can play Radis, and you can play also anything from Stronghold because those games are a plague. There, boom, mic drop. Good night.
And that, folks, is the news. Thanks for watching.
I helped you out.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about Star Wars Unlock. So there are 3 adventures. One takes you to the ice planet of Hoth, and that's quite tied in with the films of the old trilogy, where you are on Hoth, and if you've watched those films, some of the puzzles are going to be very reminiscent of what you saw in the films, and that's why that one's probably the easiest of the bunch. The next one, you are going to be a smuggler that has been unfortunately captured by an Imperial Star Destroyer. There's droids and stuff in that one which really sort of sing the Star Wars theme. The third adventure sees you go to the Holy City on Jeddah, and this is probably the most removed from the sort of the Star Wars films and that sort of stuff. It's very much sort of the expanded universe. It's a really interesting one though. You're still using the same sort of Star Wars logic, maybe some different alien languages pop up and different things like that. There's also a map involved in that one, as well as the everything that goes on the app. And it's that one is definitely the hardest. The value for money is pulled into question a bit because the first 2 adventures actually only lasted around 30 minutes for us rather than the full hour. The third adventure did take us the full hour, and it did definitely crank the difficulty up, whereas the other 2 were on the easier side. So, you know, you're getting maybe 2 to 3 hours of content, whereas some of the other unlocked games are, you know, they are 3 to 4 hours of content. It's a good entry point though. It's a relatively simple bunch of unlock escape rooms with that nice Star Wars theme, and I think that's what a lot of people will see this for and really enjoy it. And hopefully it means more people then find out about Unlock and board games and therefore enjoy them. Anyway, that's enough from me about Star Wars Unlock, and I'm Oliver East signing out.
Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. There is not much in this world that my dad loves more than his bird feeder. Loves it. Sends me pictures of his bird feeder all the time. I have never expressed an interest in birds. But for as much as my dad loves his bird feeder, he hates the squirrels that get into his bird feeder. Ho, ho, ho. My dad went 70 years of his life without knowing his enemy, but he has finally found it. That is why today I want to recommend the game Squirrel or Die. One of the best things about this game is its tiny size. You can hide it away anywhere, kind of like a squirrel hiding a nut. In Squirrel or Die, there are 2 different types of cards, food cards and death cards. On your turn, you will be taking one card that's face up and replacing it with a face down card. Eventually, there will be a large tableau of cards face down, and on your turn, all you have to do is take a card. The last person to not take 3 death cards wins the game. Woohoo! Food, baby, that's right. What's this one? Death! Oh, shucks. This is the type of game you can take anywhere, play it in a bar or a backyard. There's definitely some memory involved, and I know not everybody likes memory games, but I don't mind it because this entire game takes 10 minutes to play, so you don't have to remember anything for very long. Essentially, you'll just spend 5 minutes repeating over and over in your head, that's where I put the food, that's where I put the death, that's where I put the food, that's where I put the death, that's where I put the death, that's where I put the... No! That's where I put the food, that's where I put the death.
Hello and welcome back everybody to 10 for 10. Today I'm going to pit these 2 whiny humans against each other for glory and victory. Guys, you are racing to 15 victory points. And our topic today, the old fast food restaurants in the world, or really basically the U.S., because I think we pretty much invented it.
We invented bad eating habits. I agree with that.
We did. Now, this comes from 2 places, okay? I found the original inspiration from a website called oldest.org. And if it's a .org, you know it's got to be legit. And then once I gathered all that data, I went over to Wikipedia to round out the list and fixed some of the data that was clearly wrong from oldest.org. But I got it. I think this is correct. And so I have 20 entries. 10 of them are, as far as I can tell, the oldest. The other 10 are not. I've got the years written out. I'm going to pose you one of these. You are going to vote yes if you think it is one of the 10 oldest, or no if you think it's not. If you're right, you get a point.
So this is the oldest out of these 20.
These are the oldest as far as I can tell.
Man.
These
are the oldest fast food restaurants. Now, of course, fast food could be could argue if it's a fast food or not, but you did
Do not
find it on
bring
the
up
website.
Starbucks.
I
I
don't
do
think
not
there's
want to
gonna
go
be
through
too
this
many.
again.
There's not going to be too many arguments. I think they're pretty in line with what you would expect.
There's nothing fast about Starbucks. I got a coffee. I got to wait for 20 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Starbucks is not in it. I could have put it in it, but it's not in it. It was not one of the 10 oldest, so it doesn't have to be in it.
Thank you. All right. We want the 10
so
oldest.
Here we go. Yes, and they are not just the 10 oldest again, Tom, from these, but as far as I can tell, cross-checking this data, these are the 10 oldest.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So here we go, guys. Let's start with boom. Buffalo Wild Wings is our first entry. Buffalo Wild Wings. And you are going to be voting simultaneously whether yes, it is one of the 10 oldest, or no, it's not one of the 10 oldest. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Ready.
Let's see it.
No, Tom is always wrong.
Oh, well, if he's wrong, so are you, technically, because you voted the same thing. This is a conundrum. You put me in a pickle.
Wild Wings sounds like a modern thing.
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings, indeed, is a modern thing. It was founded in 1982. So you both get a single.
That's older than I thought.
You know they are the largest sports bar chain in the country, too?
Well, thanks for stealing my I have trivia.
Oh, I didn't.
You know what? I'm dropping the rest of the trivia because you ruined it. I had no trivia, but it's a great way to get out of not having trivia. Here we go, guys. So that's a point apiece. Let's pick another one. Here we go. Arby's. Is it yes, one of the 10 oldest, or no, not one of the 10 oldest?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Let's see it.
Yes, and Tom is still wrong.
Again, impossible. He is wrong, but so are you.
Are you?
This is not one of the 10 oldest.
Ooh.
Arby's was founded in 1964.
Oh my word!
Not
wow.
One of the 10 oldest.
I would have
There
guessed.
you go.
I would have guessed something in the late 60s. So wow, but this is not.
The list number 10 will start even older than that. There you go.
10 will shock you.
Number 7 will change your life. Here we go. Next up, we've got Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts.
I don't know anymore. You just really threw me off with that last one.
Yeah, it really, really did.
But just try to think of when you think they might have been founded.
Yep.
You were around before Mr. Bonacker was born.
I don't think any of these are older than Bonacore. No.
No, that's not true. So far.
Here we go. Show me.
They're younger. Yes.
That is correct, fellas. Yes, this is one of them. But before I tell you where it is, you get to decide, and you're each going to get a point right now. You get to decide whether you want to keep it or you want to give it to the other guy. Again, let me remind you of the scoring. The number 1, the oldest, is worth 6 victory points. Whoa. Okay? Then 5 for number 2, 4, 3, 2, and then the bottom 5, so number 10, number 9, those are all worth 1 extra point. Whoever decides whether they want to keep one or give it away is always whoever is trailing in the score. All right? For the first one, because you are tied right now, I'm going to give it to Mr. Stephen Bonacore, what I would call the perennial loser in this game, is getting the benefit right now. Would you like to keep Dunkin' Donuts, or would you like to give it to Mr. Vassal?
I'm gonna keep Dunkin' Donuts.
You're keeping Dunkin' Donuts. Let me go ahead and grab my cards here for rank purposes.
I'm definitely confused. And by the way, I usually win these games, not lose. So I'm just
I
the loser,
but I never bag of losers. That is number 8, Mr. Stephen Bonacore. You're keeping it. It's worth 1 point. There you go. And I'm going to put this in front of you here.
When does the game end, by the way? Is it at certain points?
15 points. Whoever gets to 15 points.
This was
the year? 1948.
Oh,
Dunkin'
my
Donuts
word.
was founded in 1948.
And it was number 8, so just,
And
do
it's
the math on this
8.
stuff.
That is correct.
Oh, no. I'm going to lose. I have no idea on any of these.
Tom, I have no more idea than you.
You were around for these, and he wasn't, Steven. You do have an advantage.
I was not born in 1948. I was not
You
a
were at
twinkle
the
in my
inauguration of
daddy's eye.
Dunkin' Donuts. I remember that.
I was not at
It's
the
there.
inaugural-
There's a picture of him as a baby.
Next up, fellas, Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Let me know if yes, you think it is in the top 10 or no. You ready?
Ready.
Sure.
Let's see it. Interesting. This was in 1962, so it is not in the top 10. Tom is going to get a point for that. So Steven does not. You are now tied at 3 points. Next one. Orange Julius. Orange Julius. Is this in the top 10 or not in the top 10?
Wow. Okay.
Orange Julius is delicious, baby. Let's see it.
Delicious. I
Folks,
remember going to Orange
yes.
Julius as
Folks,
a
if
kid.
you never had an Orange Julius, you got to try it. It's a
Very, very
it's a
good
very
stuff.
unique drink.
and
This is-
disgustingly sugary. So get ready for the diabetes. Go
There
ahead.
you go. Okay, this is indeed in the top 10, guys. So 1 point for Steven, 1 point for Tom. You are tied here. Tom has no entry at all, and you have the number 8, so it's going to go to him. It goes to whoever has the lowest, and he has none.
Fair
So,
enough.
Tom, would you like to keep Orange Julius, or would you like to give it to Steven?
I like to keep it. It feels old.
Orange Julius, which you would like to keep, is the third oldest.
So 1, 2, 3, 6.
That is going
5,
to be
4.
worth 4 points. That is
Oh,
correct. Tom,
not-
1, 2,
not
3,
good.
4. That brings you up to 8 points. Steven has 4. But that
think
does
Orange
give you
Julius-
control of the board, Steven. You'll be deciding
I
what
think
goes
Orange
where.
Julius was bought by Dairy Queen. The one by my house has the Dairy Queen sells Orange Julius's.
And that could very well be some of these have merged, they've changed. That's fine, but this is when it was founded, and it was
My
founded
grandmother used to take me to Orange Julius when I was a kid. That's like one of the first places I remember.
where you
We were-
at their opening.
No.
We were mall rats. Like we used to get on the bus in Queens and go to the Queens Center, Queens something Center on Queens Boulevard, and we used to go immediately to the Orange Julius stand and load
It's
up on
good
sugar.
stuff. I haven't been to one in many years.
I didn't know they existed. I have not seen them.
They might not anymore. I really
Yeah.
don't know. But they were founded in 1926.
It's wow. It's like a smoothie that's really bad for you.
No, they put eggs in it. Oh, come on. It's not like any of this stuff is good for you. Come on.
No, the rest of them, number 12 will shock you with its health content. Here we go. Sonic, not the hedgehog, the other one.
Interesting.
Okay, you ready? Let's see it. Okay. Well, it's not in the top oldest. So, Tom, that's another point for you, bringing Tom
It feels
up to
like
9.
it's a place made to feel like it's old, but it's not.
Oh, it's pretty old. It's from 1953.
Oh my word!
It's just not in the top 10. It's just outside of it. I'll tell you that. It's just outside. The top
Don't give
10,
away
okay?
so much info. Okay, just outside.
Oh, does that help you at all? It doesn't help me.
Yeah, hey, come on. What are you talking about?
Now I know that I got to pick things from 52 or beyond that.
That's very true. Here we go. Next up, we've got White Castle. White Castle.
One of
In
my
the top
favorite
10 or
places.
not? Hmm?
Talk about things that are bad for you.
Yeah, I know. I love White Castle. Ready?
All right. You ready? Let's see it. You're both saying yes. You are both correct. So, Steven, that brings you up to 5 points. Tom, 10 points. Steven, would you like to keep this, or would you like to give it away?
Bring it over here. Bring it here.
You want it?
I want
All
it.
right.
Whoa!
This is the number 1, Steven. That means you get 6 points, my friend. That brings you up to 11, which is 1 above Tom, giving him control of the board.
Yes, it does.
You are at 11. Tom is at 10. White Castle was founded in 1921.
Wow.
It is really old, and every burger they've ever sold was made in 1921. That's what no.
Wait,
That's why they
I haven't
taste
heard
the way
like
they taste.
Are they advertising a 100-year anniversary then?
That should be
That's
happening.
funny.
I don't know if they are, but it should be.
Interesting.
They might not care.
Maybe people don't. Maybe they don't want to tell people they've been around 100 years.
That could be. That could be. All right, next up, Five Guys.
Man, I thought I knew stuff, and now I don't. I'm so nervous.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's see it.
No.
You're
Thomas.
both correct. Five Guys is from 1986.
Okay.
That's
You
new.
each have a point. Steven,
Of
you're
all
at
the
12,
ones we mentioned so
inching towards
far,
that
this
win.
is my favorite.
What's that?
So far, of the ones you mentioned, this is my favorite.
This is your
it's a-
favorite. Okay.
It's a good burger place. Yeah, for fast burgers. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing bad about that place. You eat too many peanuts when you're there, I think, right? You go and you're chomping on those peanuts for so
They
long.
don't have them now. You have to ask for them or something.
Oh, okay, because they don't want
Because
people
of the
touching the
COVID and
peanuts.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get a choice to keep it or not? Is that what you said?
No, this
No, I'm
one's
behind.
not in it.
Oh, Tom gets it.
This
Oh.
No,
one's
no one
not-
gets it.
No, this is not in the top 10. No one gets this. But you were both right, so you each got a point in the guessing part. So, Steven, you're
12
at
to
12 and
11.
Tom's at 11, okay? There you go. Here we go. Next up. So you get the guessing part right 3 more times. You might win, but you got to hope they're not in the top 10. Here we go. Next up. A and W. A and W.
I am ready.
Tom? Well, you are both correct. It is indeed. Steven, you are at 13. Tom, you are at 12, meaning you have control. Would you like
It
to
doesn't
keep
matter.
it
I think
or give it away.
At this point in the game, I just have to take it because even if it puts me ahead and gives it to him at the end, whatever, I'm taking it.
When do you think this is from, Tom? Take a guess.
A&W's old, so I'm going to go from the 30s. I'll say
think it's-
35.
I'm going to say it's number 2.
And when do you think it's from? The number 1 was 1921, so.
Yeah, I'd say the 30s too. Yeah.
1923.
Wow, making it number 2,
Is
right?
number 2, giving Tom 5 points right now, bringing him up to 17.
Oh, for the win.
For
You
the
suck.
win, number 2 there. So let's take a look at the list. I'm sure you guys are curious.
Very curious.
I am.
So let's take a look. Now it's not in order, really, unfortunately, but I can make it be in order. So number 10 would have been Jack in the Box, 1951.
Wow.
Number 9 is Whataburger, 1950.
What?
I love Whataburgers.
What does it? Say it again.
Whataburger.
Whata?
From Texas. Yeah,
Whataburger.
Whataburger, and it's all one word.
Monica, you may have one near you.
Texas
You should
thing.
go to it. It's good.
I've never seen one, as far as I know. Okay, I'll Google Whataburger.
Dunkin' Donuts was number 8. In-N-Out Burger is number 7, 1948 as well.
Wow.
Number 6 is Dairy Queen, founded in 1940.
I even mentioned that earlier.
McDonald's was founded in 1940 as well, a little earlier, so that's number 5. Number 4, it's KFC, founded in 1930.
Wow.
And then you got number 2, A&W, and number 1, White Castle. So there you go. Are you guys curious about any other establishments I might have on here?
Did you put Burger King on? Because I knew that was a newer one.
Burger King is not new. Burger King is from 1953.
Wow, really?
So it
Again,
was
it's
right
the
on the
same year as
cusp.
Sonic, slightly earlier than Sonic, I think, in the same year. So it would have been 11, and Sonic would have been 12.
And what about Wendy's?
Wendy's I have on here as well, and it's from 69. That's a little newer. Subway was 65. Taco Bell 62.
So what's the newest one?
Church's Chicken is from 53. Some of the newer ones, Wing Street is from 2003, 2004, something like that. That was one of the newer ones I saw. I didn't put it on the list, but it's one of the newer ones I saw.
Huh. All right, cool. That
There
was a
you
fun
go,
game. I like
everybody.
that one, Z.
Congratulations, Tom. Finally
Thank
won.
you. All righty, folks. We got a couple more contributors. Here we go.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I want to talk about Valheim, the video game. Valheim is a sandbox survival adventure sort of game, and it is awesome. I have been loving this game to pieces. Now, the interesting thing about this sandbox game is that it actually has some sort of purpose to it. And I know a lot of people feel like, oh, a sandbox doesn't have a purpose, you do whatever you want. I personally don't agree, and I love it when sandboxes have some sort of purpose. But pretty much you're crafting different weapons and armor and gear and whatever, and you're building your own like base and everything. And then the object of the game really is to go up against these 5 different bosses that become increasingly more difficult. I want to connect that to Seventh Continent. So Seventh Continent is definitely a survival adventure game. And there's a little bit, it's not so much sandboxy, but there is crafting going on in the game where you're crafting different like armors and weapons and everything. You've got to cook to survive. Total survival game in this one. And there's a lot of adventure. It's like, okay, where do I go? And it has a purpose to it, right? Where you're trying to lift some sort of curse that's been put upon you. A lot like in Valheim, where there are those bosses that you're trying to go up against at the end of the day. Anyway, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you could check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I just want to give a huge thank you to everybody who did come through and was able to come through for our 12-hour marathon that happened. We were able to raise over $1,300 for the 2 LGBTQ plus organizations, and we are super thrilled for that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good one.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes. I'm solo today, no Matt, I'm sorry folks, with my segment From the Page to the Table. This week I'm looking at an almost brand new book, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Really awesome concept in this book, where our main character, Addie LaRue, it's 1714, and she essentially makes a deal with the devil. She wants to be free. She does not want to be stuck in this marriage that she's been arranged to have, and the devil grants her her freedom. But at that price, she lives an invisible life. She gets to do all these things. She does not die, but once she leaves the room, no one remembers her. So we have an epic story of time, of finding love, who you are. And I thought that would be excellent to go with Rococo. I've been waiting for a while to have a book to pair with this. So we're in the Rococo period here. This is so exciting. But Addie does spend time in some of the kings and queens palaces of France. They do show up in here. And Rococo is just one of the best games that we have in our collection. It was supposed to be my pretty dress game. I'm looking over there at my husband. Haven't played the deluxe edition. We do still like this one a lot. But a game of making dresses and coats. We don't have the jewelry expansion. And selecting your best one for the fireworks show at the end. Eagle Griffin production. I'd highly recommend picking out both. Great book, even better audiobook, and a great game as well. That's it for breakfast this week. We'll see you later.
Well, hi everybody. I'm Doug Jr. from Doug and Doug Gaming, and you are watching a Fellowship of Meeples. Well, once again, I am going to recommend a game to you from my collection, starting with a specific letter that is randomly drawn from this deck of letter cards from the game Trophies. And I'm going to draw a letter from the middle here without even looking at it. It is the letter B. Well, that didn't take long at all, because easily my favorite game that starts with the letter B in my collection is Black Orchestra. Now, Black Orchestra is a co-op game for 1 to 5 players. This game was designed by Philip Dubarry, and it was published by Game Salute. In this game, you're going to be playing the role of German conspirators. You are trying to assassinate Adolf Hitler during World War II. during the game, you'll be using your actions to collect cards to put in your dossier. Some of these might include a plot to actually assassinate Hitler. You'll have to gather certain items from the board, and at some point you're going to roll some dice, and hopefully, if Hitler's military support is low enough, if your suspicion is low enough, if your motivation is high enough, hopefully you'll be able to assassinate Adolf Hitler. Now, this is a very historically accurate game because during the game, after each turn, you're going to be drawing these event cards. And these cards will actually take you through the war, sharing different events that actually happened. Way too much to cover in this short time, but if you've never tried it, I highly recommend Black Orchestra. This is my favorite game. Certainly that starts with the letter B. So what's your favorite game that starts with the letter B? Because maybe I would like to try one of yours. Let us know in the comments. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on a Fellowship of Meeples.
All right, folks, that's it for another episode of Board Game Breakfast. A couple things. Join us at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today for the last Shoots and Marbles for a few weeks, but it's super fun, and we have a new entry who accidentally entered the race last week and is now racing for real this week.
King of my heart.
This is not the last time I'll be online today, though. Tomorrow, I'm going to be on All Shucks. That's AWSHUX. Showing up, and me and Quentin Smith will be talking together about how we choose what games we review. It's probably very different processes. So you can check out their website for all the scheduling on that, shutupandsitdown.com. But that's it for today, or at least this morning anyway. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Stephen Bonacore.
And you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Drinking Orange Julius, I thought you were going to say.
I should have. I lost it.